Hello, this is Dazzling One, and this week's discussion is on criminal gangs and the occult. As I was browsing through news stories, I came across a story about a 15-year-old girl who was sacrificed to Satan by MS-13 gang members. 15-year-old Genesis Cornejo disappeared from her home on January 19th. Police were under the impression she ran away to New York with a man who had not been identified at the time. Instead, Genesis got mixed up with a pair of illegal Salvadorian immigrants who are alleged to have murdered her as part of a satanic ritual. Rosemary Cornejo, the 15-year-old's mother, recently took to Facebook to express her devastation regarding the death of her daughter, Rosemary, blamed some deed gang for taking her daughter's life. Melissa Taccarelli, a woman who worked with Rosemary when they lived in New York, claimed she had known Genesis since she was a young girl. Melissa recalled the last time she saw Genesis. "When I saw her last time, she was really affectionate with her little brother. She was reading to him in the waiting room and just seemed like a normal young teen." The Houston police have yet to confirm the girl that was found shot to death on February 16th was Genesis Cornejo, despite the fact that family members and friends are claiming it is her. Diego Alexander Hernandez Rivera and Miguel Angel Alvarez Flores, who are 18 and 22, have been charged with both kidnapping and murder. Each of the males are being held on a $300,000 bond. The 14-year-old girl was able to provide police with enough evidence to link the two males to the murder of the 15-year-old whose body was dumped on the side of a road in Houston a few weeks ago. The girl believed to be Genesis was discovered by a man while he was driving his children to school. According to the 14-year-old, she was passed around from one man to the next in an apartment she had run away towards the end of January. Eventually, she was released to a group of gang members on February 2nd. She was then held captive for over 2 weeks. The girl revealed that the 6 of the gang members lived in the apartment, and a man with the nickname Diabolico appeared to be in charge. The gang members forced her to consume drugs and alcohol before she was raped by a man named Daniel. Unfortunately, this horrific story did not end there. The 14-year-old was held down by the gang members, while Diabolico tattooed a Grim Reaper on the girl from her foot to her knee. According to the 14-year-old, the older girl believed to be Genesis was also being held against her will by the gang members. The 14-year-old revealed that Genesis upset Diabolico when she bashed their shrine to the satanic saint. Diabolico made a peace offering to the saint, who claimed a soul would be needed in order to make their satanic saint happy. The 14-year-old claimed to wake up one morning and Genesis was no longer there. 2 weeks ago, the leader and one of the other members drove Genesis to Sharp Crest in southwest Houston, where she was then shot once by each of the males in her head and chest. The murder was believed to be a satanic offering to the gang's saint. While Diego Rivera has admitted to pulling the trigger, the identity of the 15-year-old has yet to be confirmed. How authorities found the 14-year-old girl is unknown. That's just one recent example of gang members sacrificing an individual to a satanic saint, and this is nothing new. I took an excerpt from an article that I found a few years back about street gangs and the occult. In the 1980s, Cuban Marilitos brought Afro-Cuban cult beliefs into the Los Angeles drug and gang culture. Santeria, voodoo, and Palo Mayombe followers became some of the most violent criminal gang members Los Angeles had ever seen. Across the city, small altars with cauldrons or gangas of fruit, rum, and cocaine, as well as animal blood sacrifices, dotted the map. Botanicas, occult pharmacies that sold the paraphernalia required for these rituals, sprang up in every community. Drug cartels from Mexico practiced their own rituals, brujeria, or witchcraft. Altars with figurines of the bandit saints Jesus Malverde or Santísima Muerte, Holy Death, were common in cartel drug houses. Cartel members wore amulets and placed figurines of occult symbols in their cars. Some openly worshiped Satan. During the heavy metal music era, the early to mid-1980s, a new type of gang began to get attention of gang cops in Los Angeles. Unlike the common cholo gangs, these new gangs are made up of stoners. Kids who wore black concert t-shirts, leather jackets adorned with spikes and studs, and long hair. They rejected the classic oldies but goodies in favor of AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, and Motley Crue. They also rejected the cholo gang morals and code of conduct. The whole stoners, ELA stoners, MS stoners, later to evolve into MS-13, and others played by their own rules. Soon, these new stoner gangs outnumbered traditional gang members in East Los Angeles, booking cages. In turn, they were ostracized by most Cholo gang members. And then I have a testimony that I want to read that I found. This is about a former gang member who goes by the name El Cholo, who spoke out back in 2008. I've been in Mara since I was 6. I grew up in the streets. My first gang was Pekingo. I grew up with them. They taught me arms, fighting, drugs, communication, contraband. I grew with this mentality. When I had learned it all, I went my own way. Surviving alone, I went to the 13 gang, then the MS-18, then with a gang called Breaker, then with the Black Star, the Saldiver gang. Now I'm a rockero. We listen to satanic music and do satanic rituals, and we play the Ouija, a game of the devil. It's how one comes to know the devil. To know him, you have to give him your soul. You need money, food, you want to be rich. The devil comes and he says, okay, I want something of yours, and I'll give you everything. You come and give him your soul. Here's my life, it's all yours. But I want you to give me money. I want you to make me famous. He comes, gives it, and you're better for it. But there are dangers, such as death. If you die, you lose everything, including your family, by means of these satanic games. My mother is Costa Rican, and my father's from the U.S. I was born in the U.S. They had problems with drug trafficking, and they decided to come here to Guatemala. They decided to leave me here in an orphanage because of their problems. I grew up there. Then I was adopted by foster parents, but I didn't like life with them, so I chose the life of the streets when I was 6. I started to grow up in the streets. I slept in the streets. The streets became my home. There's a saying that those who grow up in the streets will only be respected on the streets. When I joined the Pekingo gang, they taught me how to use weapons and be in a gang. Later I joined Mara 13, the Salvatrucha. I was with them. I learned how to survive there. There were lots of gangs, and how they survive is asesino al sueldo, kill for a paycheck. A person who needs money has to kill another person. They come, kill a person, take his money, and that's how they survive. Or they survive violating people, kill them, kidnap, assault banks, rob people in the streets, and sell drugs. That's what gangs do, and I did it too. I was 10 years old when I entered Mara 18. I learned how they dress and how they live in the streets, but there's a problem between 18 and Mara 13. They can't be together. They're not the same gang. If a 13 arrives at the house of an 18, the first thing is there's a massacre. 13 and 18 are rivals. I've killed 10 people, all adults. I killed 6 gang members and 4 victims of crime. I killed the last one 4 months ago. He was causing problems in my gang. They paid me to eliminate him. I also sell candy and cookies in the streets and in buses. Now I've left the gangs. Now I'm rockero. Of all the rockeros in the world, 75% worship the devil. The other 25% don't. I don't worship the devil. I left all that satanic stuff. I'm on my own. I don't mess with the devil anymore. To dedicate your soul, you have to make a mark of the 3 6s. I have them on my chest. There are women who get involved in satanic rituals. They make a star of points, salt, ash, cemetery, dirt, bone dust, black candles, and blood. Through magic, when the fire comes, the devil is present. They have to do this ritual in the cemetery. Lots of people need money, they need protection, and that's why they do it. I've done human sacrifice twice. I sacrificed a family of 13 through black magic. We made a voodoo doll. We stuck it with needles, and the person it represents dies easily. There's a satanic group called Pedro. It's a computer game. How are you dressed? What color is your shirt? Your shirt is black, he responds as if he's in the computer. If I lose, Pedro wins, and he takes my life. Pedro is the devil. There was this woman who threatened my life. I wouldn't permit it. I said before you get me, I'll get you. I made a voodoo doll with a piece of her pants. I went to the cemetery. She sacrificed herself on her own. She cut her own veins with a machete. We came. We did our work. She died. We took parts out of her brain, heart, lungs, the most valuable parts. We cut the heart into 14 parts, 1 piece for each of 14 of us. Our objective was to eat the heart raw. If we didn't eat it, the devil would kill us or harm us, or our families. We had to do it. She was 38 years old. We dumped her body in a river. This was when I was 15 in 2003. I was with the Breaker gang then. Do I feel guilty for the people I've killed? No. If I committed an error, then sooner or later I'll pay for it. That's why I don't feel guilty to have done it. I feel normal to survive in the world. You have to do everything, including even taking the life of another. You have to do everything in this life in order to survive. That's what I did. In one sense, they're right, referring to the rise of vigilantism and the targeting of gang members for death. There are more innocents who've died at the gang's hands. The people are tired of the gangs. Many people are tired of me. I'm now an ex-gang member. 2 years ago, I left the gangs when I was 18. Today, I'm a street vendor. People respect me. There have been lots of deaths from gangs. You find bodies in the rivers, mountains, Baranakas. Many women have died because they belong to gangs. There are women who get killed during rapes. There are gang members who like to rape women and then kill them. There are women who, because of their marital problems, end up dead. Also, they kill prostitutes. I know lots of prostitutes. Lots of them work by the train tracks in Zona 6 and Zona 3 and along 18th Street. There are lots of prostitutes. Some are killed for giving a disease to a man. Here in Guatemala, lots of gang members have tattoos. You put on 18 or 13, the sorrow, the name of your family, the name of your woman, the name of your son. Some people are famous for their tattoos. Some people have 3 points of the Vida Loca, jail, death, cemetery. For the rockeros, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I wanted to get out of the gangs to save my life. You have to fight to stay alive. Now I believe in the world of God. I have my Bible. That's why I left the gangs. I met a Jehovah's Witness in the street. He told me everything. I was doing it as an error. Now I believe in the word of God, and I decided to change my life. I know that I've caused grief to families. They'll celebrate Holy Week and Christmas without their loved ones who I killed. The families of the 10 I killed are sad. I did it for the amusement of money or drugs. I know I was wrong. Now I start to tremble when I think that I killed someone. I could go to prison, or somebody might want to kill me for revenge. Today I'm afraid I could pay with my life for my errors, as we say, pray with the same money. I know lots of people. The sicarios, hired gunmen, have killed Scrappy Carlos, Brand, El Diablito, Cholo, Scooby-Doo, Pantera, Flaco, Guzman, Magoo. I've known 50 people who've been killed by sicarios this year, more in years past. They were all in gangs. They were famous. It's an honor, a medal of gold for all they've done with us. They've helped form gangs. They were our leaders. The mistake the sicarios made is to think killing the leader will make a difference. Another leader comes up. His right-hand man moves up. Today, a lot of gang members do fear the backlash of community vigilantes. It's not the same as before. They know well that sooner or later, they can be eliminated. Gang members who have piercings or tattoos know they should hide them or leave this place because they know the sicarios won't give them a second chance. The sicarios are there to clean up the community. In my case, when I go out, the first thing I do is take out my piercings, cover my tattoos to look like a decent person for the fear of being eliminated. Thanks to God, I've been a street vendor for 2 years. Now I like to earn an honest living. So I thought I'd share that testimony with you of a man who came out of a gang in Guatemala. And just one other thing to take note of is if you look at a lot of gang symbols, just like if you look at a lot of cult symbols, it always goes back to the occult. And there's even some conspiracy theories that gangs are actually set up by the CIA or FBI to wreak havoc in urban areas. But either way, just the occult connection is undeniable. There are many examples, and I'd like to know your thoughts on it. I hope you have a wonderful week, and God bless.